Okay, question 12. The diagram shows a square. Work out the length of one side of the square. So the first key word in that is the fact it's a square, so we know that this side is the same length as this side. So the first thing we need to be doing is making an equation in order to find out what x is, and we know that because these two sides are the same, then we can say that this is equal to this. So that's the first thing that I'm going to write down. Okay, now I want to solve this, so my next natural step is to expand the brackets. I'm just going to copy out the left-hand side again. So I'm getting 3x and then 3 times 1. So I get 3x plus 3 on that side. And now I've got a situation where I want to solve this to find out what x is. And I've got x's on both sides. So where I have x's on both sides, I pick on the smaller number of x's. So we've got plus 7x and plus 3x. So the smaller number is obviously 3x. And to get rid of it, I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. Notice how I'm writing this straight underneath the x's. That just makes it easier, so I don't do silly mistakes like minus 3 take away 3x is nothing, or I might get confused. So if you write underneath the x's, then you're less likely to go wrong. So 7x minus 3x is 4x. Copy what you have next, so minus 3. Copy the next bit, equals. This bit is now disappeared because that makes 0, and it equals plus 3. So I now need to get x on its own. Looking at the left-hand side where x is, the bit that's furthest away from x, we've got the 4 right next to it. The thing that's further away is the minus 3. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So I get 4x minus 3, add 3 is nothing, equals 6. And therefore x would equal 6 over 4. So I need to divide it by 4. 6 was there first, so it's 6 over 4. Or that's 3 over 2, or you might like to write it as 1.5. Now, some of my students were writing this as their final answer, but just double check the question. Is that right? Work out the length of one side of the square. Well, the length isn't 1.5 because 1.5 is just what x is. Okay, the actual length is 7 lots of x minus 3, or 3 lots of 1.5 add 1. So you have to substitute it into either of those. It doesn't matter which one because they're both equal, as we know, because it's a square. So I'm going to put I'll just explain to the examiner that substituting that x equals 1.5 into 7x minus 3, that's what I've chosen to do. So I'm working out 7 lots of 1.5 minus 3. Okay, notice I've used the brackets for the x. This just helps me when I put this into my calculator. So 7 brackets, 1.5 minus 3, and that comes out as 7.5. So you can't really see that very well with the light. So that is my final answer.